Hi everybody, my name is Jo and I love to read. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Booktube Backstage Tag. I was tagged in this by Rosie Cuckshot. I'll leave a link to her channel down below. She's awesome, go check her out. This is the tag all about behind the scenes of Booktube, how I make Booktube, what technology I use, and I'm really excited to be doing this because their videos are a lot of fun and I really like seeing everybody else do them as well. So make sure you do this tag too and let me know in the comments below if I don't normally watch your channels. I would love to see it. Question 1, what camera do you use to film your videos? I actually use an iPhone 7 camera to film my videos, hence why a lot of the time with tags I look down when I talk about the questions because I hold my laptop up while I'm doing it. I have tried a camera before and I think it was fine. I didn't know a lot about editing, so I didn't know how to get rid of the background noise, and the camera was really sensitive, so maybe one day I'll go back to camera filming, but I would also need to, I don't think I own that camera anymore, maybe not, I'm not sure, but I would have to get a camera with a viewfinder because I used to have to like position it, film like 10 seconds of a video, go and have a look, come back, hope that I'm in the right position, and I just love the fact that I can flip the camera on the iPhone and I can see exactly what I'm doing. Question 2, speaking about filming and being your own director, do you have a favourite film director? I actually don't. I don't really pay attention enough to film directors to know which one is my favourite. Probably only director that I really ever cared enough to read, but it wasn't necessarily about the director itself, more what she was directing, is the first director of the Twilight series movies, the number one being Twilight, and that was Catherine Hardwicke, because I was so wanting to get any kind of Twilight merchandise and books and things like that that I bought the director's notebook, and that was really cool because I do like seeing behind the scenes. I'm someone who would always watch the extra, what were they called? The special features on DVDs, and it's kind of sad to think that with the rise of streaming services we're not going to see those kinds of things as much anymore, though I suppose that's where YouTube comes in, that they might help us out with those special extras, special features, that's what they're called. God, I keep forgetting that's how long it's been. But I don't actually have a favourite film director. I love a lot of films, but I don't really follow a director enough to know whether I'm like, oh, they're directing a new film, I better check that one out. Question 3, what microphone do you use and what program do you use to edit your videos? So I'm using a microphone that I've just recently invested in. I say invested, it was only about 20 bucks, which for me isn't, it is, but it isn't. It is for the budget that I set myself in spending money, but it isn't a lot because, like, as a whole for like Daniel and I's finances, because if I sort of wanted to give myself more spending money, I probably could, but I also want to put more money towards other projects and don't really want to spend it on sort of frivolous things. It's to stop me from doing a lot of spending for myself when I'm like, oh, but why isn't this renovated? Well, that's why. So it isn't a lot of money. It was just one of those things where I hadn't really thought about a microphone that much. I was more worried about my picture quality because I do have a ring light now, which I've actually had for probably about a year, like 6 months to a year now. I cared about that a bit more, but I do want to up my sound quality. The only thing that I'm noticing is I've got to be very careful because I'm clipping the microphone down here to be aware that I have a microphone now and not to scratch my hand or arm or something up against it, because then you can hear it in the video and it's very annoying for people to be listening to. But it's nice to kind of have this kind of technology. It was like 20 bucks off the Facebook Marketplace and I'll see how I go with it. The editing software that I use is 100% free, though I don't know if purchasing a MacBook is considered free, but I just use iMovie, which is on my MacBook that I own, and it's the most basic. Probably the only thing that irritates me a little bit is the titles, like putting in the title text things doesn't seem as nice as everybody else's. And the only other thing that I'll probably notice is that I use a program called PhonePaw, which was about 50 bucks for a lifetime, your laptop's lifetime purchase, because as I discovered when I killed my old laptop and got a new one, I had to rebuy all the products that I had on it. So maybe lifetime, but the lifetime with your laptop. It's a software that allows me to convert the videos that I have created in iMovie to a smaller format, which means that they upload to YouTube quicker, because one of the biggest barriers for me for uploading, and especially uploading twice a week, was having to wait like an entire day for things to upload to YouTube. So I don't know whether I've sacrificed the video quality, like I don't know whether it's super fuzzy or grainy or something like that, but it's just something for now that I'm gonna continue to do, and maybe if I feel like my channel still doesn't grow at all much, then I'm gonna look into it again. But just honestly, the time investment that it saves me, and I know it's one of those things where it's just like, well then do your videos as normal schedule and then just upload it the next morning. Like, I could sit it to be thinking all night if I wanted to, but particularly at the beginning when I was getting into a schedule with videos and I wasn't doing it all the time, it was really easy to sort of think about it at the last minute and then upload it really quickly. Like, I could film and edit and upload all in the space of like a couple of hours when I was like desperate to, like when I was running out of time, as opposed to like then going, oh shit, I've got to like, you know, I still have to give myself time and I'm not. So I'll see how it goes. Do you feel like my video quality is not as nice? Maybe, I don't know, is that something that bothers you if you've gotten to this point of the video and you would like to tell me? Go for it, but at the moment the convenience is really helping me. Question 4, do you remember the first record that you bought or received as a gift? Now, to be honest, I had to read this question a couple of times because I'm thinking, are they talking about records as in like records that go on a record player, like the round disc thingies? And I don't remember the first record I received as a gift, because I'm sort of that, I know what records are and like they were present in my childhood growing up, but I'm not quite that, I don't want to say old, but like I'm a little bit too young of the generation to have been gifted them as like a teen or like a 10-year-old or something like that. By that point we did have CDs and Discmans, but my earliest memories of them actually were at my grandma's house, and she would sit down and put on like story time records, and so we had like Disney ones, like Daffy Duck is not Disney, is he? Warner Brothers. But we did have Disney ones with the other duck, Donald Duck. I remember him, but I also remember probably my favorite was a story version of 1000 Leagues Under the Sea, which was like a kid's version, but it was really cool because there was like a picture book along with it, but there was also like a record and you could listen to it play, and that's what I used to listen to my grandma's house. So that's my memories with record players and records. Question 5, how do you prepare your videos? Talking points, a detailed script, or just talking? So a lot of the time I'm just talking. If I'm doing a tag video, I'll generally look at the questions again after being tagged in or listening to a video and deciding I want to do it, because I want to know whether I actually want to do it like in depth. Like it can be different between listening to someone's answers and thinking them yourself, and I generally tend to do a lot better when I've thought about the questions and I know that I actually want to answer them. Most videos I don't script at all. I just come into it and just start talking. I actually tried to do one of the videos that you've probably seen around, though it's not technically a tag, but it's sort of like reading 5-star reviews of books that I don't like, or reading like a 1-star review of books that I love. I tried to do one of those just totally unscripted because I wanted to get like my unscripted thoughts when I was reading the reviews, but I didn't realize how long it was going to take, so I actually ended up like turfing that video idea for now and picking up something a lot quicker to do. I'll probably end up doing that again and just accept that it's something that I'll have to sit there and do like 45 minutes of footage and then cut it down to like 15 because I actually found something worthwhile to show you guys enough. But the only other ones that I have started not scripting but doing talking points were, which are review videos. So I didn't do one for my City of Swords by Mary Hoffman, but I did do one for my The High Lord by Trudy Cataman, and I also did talking points for The Romantic Interest in the Earth's Children series by Jean and Marul. So there are a few that I'm starting to now, but it's more like I'm wanting to talk about, like discuss something, and I want to know what I'm talking about, and I've only recently felt like I have been skilled enough to start discussing things, and hence that's why I haven't really scripted a lot of videos. Question 6, TV shows have become the thing of our time. Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, Netflix, HBO, and Amazon. What is/are your favorite TV shows ever? Name a maximum of 3. So I already have 3 in my head that I know that I'm going to talk about. Now, if I'm ranking these sort of, I have like my absolute favorite, which I'm going to talk about the last, but I have my other 2, which are my other 2 favorites, which is Friends and The Big Bang Theory. Probably my family is going to say Friends is my ultimate favorite, but it's not. And I really love Friends and Big Bang Theory for their like laugh out loudness and how easy it is and relaxing to have them on in the background. I can do other things, or I can still enjoy them and watch them for fun. I've watched them a lot of times, and Friends I've watched so many over and over and over again. But they're easy, and that's why I like them, and I still love the characters and the storylines. But my absolute favorite show that gets me honestly tearing up the more that I rewatch it and get to know the characters. But that is Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, which may seem really strange for some people, thinking, but you've just talked about like how you're too young to have been given records, but you've watched like this fairly old show. But it was something that my grandma taped videos of and gave them to my mum to watch back before DVDs were a thing, and then we all watched them as a family. I have like this memory of these like Wild West American TV shows that we watched, and the first was Little House on the Prairie. That's a little bit too old and slow. I do have the entire DVD that Mum and I bought together that I want to watch one day, but it is a lot slower. But Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman is just that little bit, even though it's an old show, it's still modern enough that it's fast paced enough for me to enjoy. And man, it stands like for everything that I stand for, and I love it so much. Like the conversations about like equality, racism. I also love medicine as like a trope, like healers and things like that. And then like the romances are done really well, and it just like, it's just so well-rounded. And I will forever be angry for a TV series, like for the producers or the TV company that it was put on, for cancelling it before the story was ended, because when I was gonna come out and like people were so angry about it that they actually had to make not one but 2 movies after it to try and satisfy the fans. It's my favorite. I love it so much. I think you may be able to watch it on a streaming system if anybody wants to, but aside from that you can buy the DVD box set, probably not wanting to get that invested. But it's a great show. It is so good. Like, it's just, I love it so much. I'm sure I've inserted a picture to show you guys, but it's basically about a young woman doctor whose father passes away in the city that she lives in, and then she finds that she gets less and less patients because it's back in the 1800s or something like that. But she gets less and less patients now that her dad's not there, which is a man, and then she accepts a post for a frontier town that really desperately needs a doctor, and thinking, oh, they'll accept me, like they really need me, they're not going to care that I'm a woman, like they're just going to be happy to have a doctor. Get there, no, their attitudes are still the same. Her name is Michaela, and they thought that they just misspelled her name on the telegram and that it was Michael. And so there's a lot of like conversations about her trying to be accepted and things like this. But it's a great show about like family and life and equality and being accepted and doing the right thing, even though it might sound hard. And you get to know everybody in the town too, and you see who is more open-minded and who's not, and you get to see them develop as people too. And I just love it so much. It's such a great show. I highly recommend it to anybody. And if you end up watching it, if you're already watching it, let me know in the comments below who your favorite character is. But if you end up watching it because of my video, first off, thank you so much. Such a compliment. But also, let me know what you think, because it's like, I would love to discuss. Okay, you got me started on that, sorry. Question 7, what kind of booktube videos do you prefer to watch and why? And some examples are reviews, wrap-ups, vlogs, book hauls, tag videos, etc. Probably my favourite of all time is vlogs. I love doing vlogs too. Now I have a question of Rosie's to answer when she tagged me in this. She wanted to know how I did my vlogs all the time, because I do a fortnightly vlog all the time. It's a regular appearance on my channel. So every couple of days I'm vlogging, like every day of my life. And she kind of asked, how do I keep up with them and that kind of thing. Probably the easiest way to answer is that I love doing them and I make time for them. At the moment, I really need to do another vlog clip because it's been like nearly like a week and I haven't done anything. So sometimes it's hard to find the time. But often, so I do a fortnightly one because I don't think I have enough interesting content going on in my reading life day to day to do a weekly one. I don't think that's interesting enough, and I don't want to saturate my channel with vlogs. So I do a fortnightly one, but I don't want to also ramble on, which I was starting to do when they were getting a bit lengthy, and I was just rambling on about book things which weren't really interesting. Like, it was just a brain dump, and it's not, like, brain dumps aren't always great for people that are watching them. So I've really tried to trim them down a little bit and just kind of update when I have something to talk about, or just to update really quickly if it's been like a few days. I normally start the vlogs on like a Thursday, and then I try to do like an update like each weekend, and then also in the middle of the week too. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but that's kind of like my rough thing. And I really try and keep my updates between like, well, not between, probably up to 3 at the moment is what I'm aiming for, 3 minutes. Sometimes it's up to 5 minutes depending if I've got a lot to say or not, but I tend to really try and cut them off and make them shorter because I want to keep content interesting and fresh, and I also don't want to talk about the book so much that I've got nothing to talk about in my wrap-ups. But yeah, that's how I fit them in there. Fun. I don't have kids yet either, so that kind of thing. Like, I only have one job even though it is full-time, but I have a regular rhythm and routine with my life. Daniel and I also enjoy staying home and doing things like that, so it kind of makes it the perfect environment to do vlogs. I hope I keep doing them because I like that I'm talking more about my life now. Particularly people who've been following me for a bit now will remember that I've talked about my wedding so much in previous vlogs because that's what was going on. Obviously I'm not really talking about it now because it's happened, it's done, that kind of thing, but it's nice to have like the time capsule, so I really love it, and that's what kind of spurs me on to do it. And it's also a really easy video for me to do. If you guys can hear my dog whinging, I'm sorry. He came in here with me because he wanted to, but now he's a bit bored. But to get back to the question of what my favourite videos are, so I love vlogs. I think they're really accessible and they're really fun. So if I'm going to subscribe to a channel, probably one of the quickest ways for me to discover them and like them is vlogs. I like watching book shopping videos, probably because I haven't been able to like book shop without guilt for a very long time. And so I just love going out. I love seeing all the colours. They're generally like really prettily edited ones, and, well, not prettily edited, but they're pretty filming ones. We get to see the rows of bookshelves and then get to talk about what they've got. Aside from that, I don't really think I've got any more that are outstanding favourites. So let's move on to the last question, which is number 8. Watching TV was probably a part of all of our childhood. These years it has become less popular. What kind of media user are you? So obviously I consume a bit of YouTube, but it's mainly Booktube, or if I want to learn something, so I'll flick between like different kinds of topics depending on what I'm up to, but the main thing in my feed is Booktube. Also, funny fact about me, YouTube was like a fairly big thing in my high school. It wasn't as big as it is now, but it was still like a big thing when I was in high school. But I was always someone who was like, oh, I don't like watching YouTube videos. Like, they're so boring. Like, my friends would like send me a link to a YouTube video going, haha, this is funny, and I'd just be like, please no, like, I'm just not interested. I'm kind of the same way about new TV shows as well. It's very difficult for someone to convince me to watch a new show. It is a big time investment for me, and I just want to, like, I want to discover my own stuff. So I'm really sorry if people tell me like to watch things and I don't. It's just, I often find other people's tastes in videos boring, and I don't want to invest that time if I'm not going to enjoy it. And I kind of see with videos, you can't speed them up, like you can, but I don't want to, and thus I can't make things go quicker than what I want to. Probably the other type of media that I really like, I game a little bit on and off. I wouldn't exactly call me a gamer because I don't game enough to be a gamer. I really do enjoy games, and if I wasn't into reading, I probably would be a gamer. It's just that I already have another hobby that takes up a lot of my time, whereas gaming, like, I can become obsessed with the game and that's all I want to play for like all day, every day. The Sims. But aside from that, I just kind of like game very casually. Probably my only other favourite media is podcasts because I think they're really interesting, and I didn't really understand that they were a thing until sort of like recent 5 years or so, but I really enjoy them, and there's so many different topics and they're just fascinating, and I love them. So that is it for the Booktube Backstage Tag. I'm going to tag everybody that watches this video that has a Booktube channel. Please do it, and please let me know in the comments below that you have done it. I'm really interested to see what your answers are. I think it's super fun and a great opportunity to see the backstage of everybody else, especially channels that I like to watch too. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!